Today on the Great White Shark Experience podcast, we have Nicky from Dan Southern Africa. Dan is one of the leading membership companies for the scuba diving insurance around the world. Nicky is the marketing manager for Dan for the whole of Southern Africa. She has dived in some incredible places in her career. Today we talk about what Dan does, along with some of her adventures along the way. Hi Nicky, welcome to the Great White Shark Experience podcast.
Thank you.
How are you today?
I am very well, and yourself?
Awesome, not too bad at all. Great day. Yeah.
Yes, it's an awesome day to be here, and thank you for the invite.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. Super interesting. We just did a little bit of a first aid course this morning, didn't we?
Yes, we presented oxygen workshop for injured divers.
Yeah.
To the staff and divers of Go Dive in Mossel Bay.
Go Dive Mossel Bay, yeah. No, yeah. It was fascinating as well, and yeah, it's always good because I've done it before, obviously, but it's good to do refreshers. Just keep it up. It's a skill that you have to keep practicing, isn't it? So
yes,
it's one of those.
We actually found that we do these little workshops. It just sort of clicks things back in place again. Get people, oh yes, I remember that, or is this how you do it again?
Yeah. When you haven't got the kit out for a while and then you start using it, it's good to just put those memories back in place.
Yes, it's something that you need to have almost on an automated skills level, like assembling your scuba gear.
Yeah.
We feel it's very important to have these skills.
Yeah.
As it is there, it's there to save lives or improve the chances of saving a life.
Yeah. So that's important because you work for Dan South Africa, don't you?
Yes, Dan Southern Africa.
Southern Africa.
Yes. A lot of people say Dan South Africa because we're all South Africans. But our region include every country in Africa south of the equator.
Oh, wow.
So it will include typically countries like Mozambique, Tanzania and Kenya, which has huge diving operations there, especially on Zanzibar.
Yeah.
We also do cover anybody in Mauritius, Seychelles, Madagascar, and Comores. Yeah.
So there's some big diving countries there as well.
Yes, traditionally very big diving countries. Yes.
Some of the more well-known ones as well, like Seychelles and Mozambique and places. Yeah. No, fantastic.
So yes, I think it's important for people to realize that it's not just the southern end of Africa that we provide services for. It's for the southern African region.
Yeah, fantastic. And so what does Dan do?
Divers Alert Network Southern Africa is an international organization.
Yeah.
We are in regional areas. There's basically 4 big regions called Dan USA, Dan Europe, and then us, Dan Southern Africa, and then Asia Pacific area, which includes Australia and the Indo-Pacific and Japan and those places.
Okay.
So Dan Southern Africa provides services called basically dive cover.
Yeah.
People think of us as an insurance company, which we not really are, where the company that we are, the organization, is the insured party. And we provide all the benefits from our policy goes to our members.
Okay, fantastic.
If you sign up as a member, you get the benefit of the policy that we have with the insurer.
So you just have to deal with you, and then you cover the insurance. Oh, fantastic!
Should anything happen to you during a dive accident, a dive tour, dive excursion, then we will typically handle it.
Yeah,
we will make all the arrangements from getting you from the boat. Onto the ambulance, into the appropriate medical care.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we actually had, I think it was an intern mid last year, had an incident in Aliwal.
Yes.
And I think they got the mild bends, and they ended up being flown there, and they were from the USA originally, and they said if they didn't have Dan, it would have been an absolute nightmare. But but it's one of those. It's like the main dive brand, isn't it? It seems to be.
Yes, we've been around now. Dan Europe has been in operation for 40 years now.
Was that the original one?
No, Dan USA was.
USA, it's an American company. Yeah.
Dan Southern Africa, as the regional office, is pretty young. I think if I stand corrected, we're around now for about 25 years.
Yeah.
So we've been around in South Africa diving in the real blooming time of diving in South Africa.
Yeah.
From the 80s already.
Yeah.
And also when diving really took off as a recreational sport. So that is where it really became important to have this kind of thing in place where people get the proper treatment for the injuries that they occur in diving.
Yeah.
And also because diving is evolving, it's constantly evolving.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It is
and
a
we
very
have to evolve with it.
It's a changing sport, isn't it? And things change all the time. But yeah. And so what sort of things have you seen? I mean, I guess it's the best job in the world for you. You get to be in the dive community up and down the coast. And do you get to dive a lot or not so much?
I was very naughty on this trip. I wouldn't say naughty, but finding a way to connect with divers in the region is to show them that we are actually divers ourselves.
Yeah.
If we don't dive or we show them that we dive, we found that there's a bit of a disconnect.
Yeah.
That people think, oh, Dan is an insurance company, they don't dive, they provide insurance.
Correct, yeah.
But through diving with them and working with them and seeing how they operate, we get to know how to assist them and help them make diving safer or make their operation safer.
Yeah. So that sort of personal connection, I guess.
Yes.
It's that getting to know them. That sort of family feel. Yeah. No, it's interesting. And have you ever come across what sort of incidents do you come across? I mean, you were telling us some stories before, but...
Oh, there's quite a lot of stories that go around. I think a lot of people talk about, the feared shark attack.
Yeah.
Yes, they happen, but they happen because silly things happen.
Yeah.
People handling bait underwater, or they act like prey, and they end up in situations.
Yeah. They're incredibly rare, though, aren't they?
Yeah. I was in Nkomas before I came down to PE.
Yeah.
And I did quite a few baited shark dives.
Oh, the black tip dives.
Yes, the black tips. Yeah. And also dived with the legendary Walter Bernardus.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And was taken on 2 of his excursions for the bull sharks.
Oh, fantastic.
In a spot that he calls the bull ring.
Yeah.
It was absolutely mind-blowingly phenomenal.
Wow, that's insane.
To encounter these incredible species underwater. Yeah, they were really, really cool and impressive.
Yeah.
They're just so, wow.
They're incredible to see underwater,
yes.
especially when you're swimming without cages or anything. You're just on dives, and they're so peaceful and graceful. They're not interested in you at all, are they, really?
We had such a laugh because I've owned a pair of yellow frog fins.
Yum yellow.
Yeah. I've owned them since I started diving, since 1992. And it's the first pair of fins I ever bought.
Yeah.
And I still own them today, and I still dive with him.
Yeah.
And I took them on this dive, and I could see Walter was like, no. I think his first question was, are you really going to take those fins? And I'm like, yes, it's the only fins I have.
Yeah, there's something about yellow. I don't know what it is. They love yellow. It seems like all sharks like yellow.
Yeah, so there I was with these bright yellow cressy fins, diving on this baited shark dive.
He didn't tell you, though. He didn't say.
He didn't really. He was like, do you really want to take those fins? And I'm like, yes.
Yeah, of course I do. Why not?
And then, of course, after a few, got to know him on a few dives. And then he said to me, you know about the yellow fin things? And I'm like, yes, I do.
So you already knew.
Yes. I've been warned about it.
Yeah.
But really... my experience, I've seen they are interested in fins, but they're also interested in my camera strobe lights because they're white.
They're
underwater.
white, yeah.
So
they're just inquisitive, aren't they?
They're
just
very inquisitive. Check
out everything, really.
Yeah.
And most just have a look and then go away. They don't care.
Yeah. I didn't have any tugging onto it or nothing. They would come and push their face and go, but no real serious fun. And then the last dive I did with him, he said, please bring another pair of fins. And I actually spoke to his assistant who does all the bookings and things. And I said to him, listen, I've got another pair of fins in my car. It's a pair of white
I've got white or yellow, you choose.
And he's like, no. So yeah, it ended up that we couldn't go because the weather turned. So I couldn't see Walter's face when I rock up with his white fins.
That would have been funny though.
Yeah.
Unpredictable though, isn't it? The weather up there. So.
But the fins was one thing that was always funny to me. And then with Dan, obviously I get a lot of people talking to me about Dan stuff. From ear problems to what should I do if this happened, or things like that, and why should I be a Dan member? And I always say to people, any diver or person putting on a wetsuit, considering to go underwater, should be a Dan member.
At least you've got the cover then.
Yes. Yeah. Then even if you have a standard package in place, it will provide you with emergency care in a case of an incident. Yeah. So it's important to have that. Not all medical aids provide cover for incidents in diving. But yeah, that's where we are.
You can add on those extra packages as well, can't you? So that you're covered for like travel and just general travel.
Yes.
I think. Especially
what usually happens is people take a package and they dive locally.
Yeah.
And they also then travel abroad.
Yeah.
Dan cover is internationally recognized.
Yeah.
And it is available for anybody who travel international as a diver.
Yeah.
So if you have a Dan package or you're signed up as a Dan member and you travel overseas, doesn't matter where you travel, from Galapagos to the Andaman Sea, or what's the furthest one? Very small islands in the middle of the Pacific. Where people go to dive.
Yeah.
We do have people that we had to assist to get from very small places and get them to safety and get them treated for injuries and for decompression sickness.
Yeah.
So it's important to think about that. The travel portion of that is added as an extension.
Yeah.
Once you notify us that you're traveling, we activate all the travel benefits on the policy.
Yeah.
So it's not always active when you travel inside, but generally, if you travel 100 kilometers from your home or residence on a dive excursion, you will have the benefits of travel from Dan as well.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's the thing about diving, isn't it? Like, it's rare that things go wrong, but when they do, it can go wrong pretty bad pretty quickly, can't it?
Yes. I don't think people realize, everybody thinks diving is fun.
Yeah.
I mean, Paddy says diving is fun. That's their main slogan. Yes. But very few people are taught the danger of it and the stresses that your body goes through it.
Yeah.
You're dehydrating. You're usually in tropical places where it's hot, where you have to drink a lot of cool drink or other drinks.
Yeah.
And a lot of the big guys, I drink my beer. But so you need to take into consideration where you are, what your stresses are on your body, and what considerations you have to have in place when you go diving. It's important so you can look after yourself and have a safe dive trip.
Yeah, I suppose you don't really take that into consideration when you go to a new place. Your body acts completely differently than it does at home, and
yes.
And then but like decompression sickness as well. Like when you're sort of like you said at Sodwana, 9 miles out to sea, and then you have to get back. It's one of those scenarios. It's a brilliant fun sport, but like things,
and as you say, things can go wrong. And we all think, okay, everything's going to be fine.
Yeah.
You know, there's always just that one day that things do go wrong.
Yeah.
And it can be something very simple that causes you to have DCS, or you haven't slept well for weeks, or you've been working overstressed, you haven't been looking after yourself. Or you've changed medication or stuff like that. So it can be anything, basically, that activates DCS.
Yeah, sometimes.
And a difference from person to person.
Yeah, some people can get it very mildly in shallow water, can't they? It doesn't have to be... That's another misconception, isn't it? It doesn't have to be deep dives for long dives. It can be a shallow dive. And you can... Yeah, I think we had a gentleman on the boat a while ago, and he just had this rash on his chest, and just after diving didn't know what it was, and then it turned out it was decompression sickness, and then he
And then every time he did a dive to 5 meters, he kept getting this state. So then in the end, he had to stop diving. I think his doctor gave him like a certain time limit where he should like dive into depths and things, like a very mild one.
Yeah.
But in the end, he just decided to stop because he kept getting it. And
what a lot of people don't realize is that DCS can present in quite a few ways. What you're talking about, like the rash, they call skin bends.
Yeah.
That's a very surface-like skin thing. It presents as a rash.
Yeah.
Usually looks like a very bad bruise if it's to the extreme part of that.
Yeah.
So it'll have a very purple, mottled, marbled, red color.
Look at it,
really bad bruise.
Yeah.
And that usually presents in the body area.
Yeah.
Very rarely on the extremities of the person, like on the arms or something.
Yeah.
It will present on the body, either on the midriff or the hips, or the chest.
Yeah.
What also happens is that they did a bit of research. People should have themselves checked out when they do get this on a regular basis. It could be a possible heart condition.
Yeah.
So they need to have that checked out before they continue with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose there's different reasons that you can get the bends as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it sounds like quite a traumatic experience. Touch wood, fingers crossed. I've never come across it yet, but it's one of those. Yeah, it must be. Yeah, it must be pretty scary when it actually does happen.
It does happen. It's quite painful.
Yeah.
I have personal experience.
Have you had it? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. What were your symptoms?
I was one of the first fortunate people who bent in Mozambique.
Oh, really?
And late in the afternoon, making it impossible for evacuation. Only until the next day. So it's not an easy thing. Yeah. But it does happen. Yeah. And people don't always think I'm sitting out there in the sticks. Yeah. Who are they going to call when things go wrong?
Yeah, well, that's it. In Mozambique, there's nothing, is there?
It's recent years they've become very good, I must say. The hospitals are upgraded. Yeah. They are aware of DCS, and a lot of their physicians, doctors know how to treat it. Put the person on oxygen. And they usually call us. Yeah,
come.
Yeah, please help us. We don't know what to do with this guy. Yeah. But it does happen, but we don't just treat DCS. Yeah. Any dive injury. From broken bones, fingers being amputated by boat ladders. Yeah. Shark bites. Yeah. Nasty injury. Stings. Things like that. People call us for that.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Fantastic.
But I don't think people realize how much Dan does. Yeah. We don't only provide the membership cover, we also provide a complimentary cover to people who learn to dive. Okay. This is available to instructors who are DAN members. Yep. They are allowed to register their students
underneath,
for free.
Okay.
On the DAN student cover. Yeah. And that will provide the student with temporary cover. Yeah. To the value of 300,000 Rand medical care should anything go wrong and should they get injured. We've had quite a few cases where guys injured their ears. Yeah.
I suppose that's probably quite a common one, isn't it? Yeah. Equalising ears, that's usually the one people struggle with the most, isn't it? Yeah. Reverse squeezes and then reverse squeezes on the way up as well.
Yes. Yeah. No, so these kind of things happen, and I think it's important that instructors know that they can provide their client with a service.
A certain level of cover.
Yeah. So, and it's just peace of mind for them and for their student.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's the thing as well. People don't always choose to go scuba diving until they're on holiday and they see it. And they're not thinking of the things that could go wrong when they want to try it. So, it's good to have that peace of mind, isn't it, I guess?
Yes.
Yeah.
And especially if you have an instructor who say, look, I can provide this service for you for free. Yeah. And until you're qualified, you can use that.
You're covered under me, yeah. Oh, awesome. Yeah. No, it's fascinating. What else did Dan do?
Dan also do a lot of research into diving, dive medicine, providing things like research papers, assisting students to develop standards and things to make diving safer.
Yeah.
So everything we do translates back to making diving safer. The research we do, we also provide training skills from first aid skills, oxygen providing, chamber courses, things like that.
Yeah.
Everything towards diving.
Diving,
making diving safer. And
Well, I suppose it's one of those things that even though, well, I mean, it's quite well sort of, a lot of things are well known, but even now it's still changing, isn't it, all the time? So making things safer and safer is like important. So
Yes.
it's good that.
I've seen diving in the last 5 years, since 2018. I've seen it really change from the normal scuba diver with the one cylinder on the back and off you go. Yes, the tech guys were there and they were doing their thing, with all the cylinders and going into caves and things. Those guys like to push the limits. They do it. And they are very adventurous in their way of thinking. I always look at them and I think, it's enough that I have to deal with a couple of things. I'm not going to deal with changing gases and things like that. But along with all these changes also come new technology like dive computers. Dive computers being developed, made more active and more interactive. And to accommodate
You have whole computers on your wrist now. And
you've got everything on your wrist. Some of the computers even have a sensor on the back that tell you are dehydrated. You are not in peak diving condition.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You are drunk. Don't go in.
For instance, they do that. And it's a little bit of technology that came with the heart monitor thing. And even most of the heart monitors now can go underwater with you. So you can literally monitor your health.
Everything.
Through your dive computer.
We talked about diabetics before, weren't we?
Yes.
They can dive, and now there's even like monitors and things that they can plug into those kind of things.
Yes, they can dive, definitely. There's certain precautions that they need to take, and they need to be aware of them. Some cases they might be limited to depths or times. But diabetics are welcome to dive.
No, fantastic.
But it's... Diving has changed quite a lot. You've seen a lot of things opening up in the tech field, like the side mount guys going into the recreational thing. Okay, they like.
This is the crazy thing. I see there's certain diving for certain people, isn't there? And there's those kind of people who love that sort of stuff, caving and going as deep as possible and those kind of things. And that's a special breed of people. I'll take great white sharks and all those, but going down deep. I watched that Netflix documentary. What is it? Is it Dave Not Coming Back? It was up in the whole...
the commodity.
And that's a whole mission, just even getting down there. And then knowing that you have to come back up as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of the inland dives places like Bushmansgat and
that's the one, Bushmansgat.
What's the other one? Komati Springs. And what's the other one? There's another one. It's near Lichtenberg. But anyway, they all kind of a mission. They're way off places. There's no real facilities close by. And it usually takes a lot of effort to do these missions and doing these record attempts. It involves a lot of planning. And I don't think people always see that. They just see the end result. Wow, I've done 216 meters underwater on plain scuba or something like that. But so it's interesting when they start planning this. Planning record attempts like that usually takes months.
It's crazy.
And preparation.
It's so mathematical. It's not even. It's just it will work or it won't. Like your body can take it or it can't. Like, there's no. And if one thing goes wrong, there's.
Sorry.
I
think what a lot of people don't know or realize is that recreational diving, is limited to 40 meters. And they say in emergencies to 42 meters. All the dive tables go only to 42 meters. So whenever guys go on technical diving, they take that whole mathematical model and they extend it to 100 meters or 120 meters. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
And it's a mathematical thing.
Yeah.
It's not pure science anymore.
No.
It's like,
Speculation,
okay,
sort
I
of.
think we should do this.
Yeah.
And then another guy will say, nah, I think you should do this.
Yeah.
And things like that. And it becomes more and more complicated, obviously, with the types of gases you use and things like that. So, yeah, and that's where we also provide a service in. We ask them to present a plan when they go deeper than 100 meters.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
And that's where we assist them.
Yeah.
We don't criticize, we advise.
Yeah.
We make suggestions to
Yeah.
make the operation safer, provide emergency evacuation plans, that kind of stuff.
Oh, so you work with them closely,
Yes.
like when they're doing those sort of record attempts. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there is some sort of level of like, if things do go wrong, you've got a backup. Yeah.
Yes, and that's the thing. That's where Dan comes in. We also gather a lot of information from what they do.
Yeah.
Because
well, I guess it's developing,
use
isn't
that
it? Yeah.
information
And then,
to make the next guy's attempt safer.
Yeah. You just keep pouring that data back in, which is good.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Oh,
so
fantastic.
that's the thing. Yeah.
No, it's an interesting, it's a fascinating company. What you guys do is amazing as well. And I know a few people that have used it and they've had an amazing experience.
Yeah.
But like, I tell you what, to finish off, where's your favourite place to dive?
Oh.
Where do you, I mean, I guess you've dived all up and down the Southern African coast.
I always tell you, there's, I think one of the most amazing places to dive is Alawal Shoal.
Yeah. I love that place.
It's
phenomenal,
it's
isn't
phenomenal
it?
what's going on and what you see there. To see 5 different species of shark on scuba in one dive, that's mind-blowing.
And then you can drop down to the reef.
And it's not even baited.
Yeah.
And then the other place that I've recently learned to really appreciate is Cape Town diving.
Doing the kelp forests and those kind of
kelp
things.
forests and even some of the way off reefs away from the kelp forests.
I'll have to try those. I've not done those.
Yeah, there's some really amazing spots to dive.
Yeah, I haven't really dived Cape Town too much. We tried to do a blue shark mako dive one year. But we unfortunately we didn't see any, so we never actually got to dive. But I need to get to the kelp forests soon, and Alawal Shoal's still even to this day one of my favourite dives to do. Like there's so much to see down there, and every dive's different. You never see the same things.
Never.
And it's such a varied reef as well. Like you can drop down 3 days in a row and not have a clue where you are. I think it's one of those Mission Blue Hope spots, isn't it? So
I think so, if I remember correct.
Marine protected area.
Yes, it is an MPA.
No, it's a beautiful place.
Yes, and Cape Town dive sites in False Bay, the area from what can I say, from Pringle Bay all the way around to Cape Point and the Atlantic side. Everybody say, "Oh, but it's cold water." You get used to it.
Yeah, you do.
You do.
Yeah.
You acclimatize and you find a way sometimes. I remember I started out having a very, I think it was a 3mm suit, and I had a 5mm suit over that, and I had a chicken vested hood over that. And it was, you're going to be cold.
It's going to happen, but
it's going to happen.
It,
So wetsuit, you're going to be cold. But not all of us can afford to have a dry suit. And I think the dry suit guys are chicken anyway.
It's one of those as well. Like, it doesn't feel like diving when you're dry. You're supposed to be wet, but you're in the water.
It's like they rock up in their Sunday suit and they put their thing on and they get out and they put their tie on and they go off again.
Yeah, they say that, but then everyone who does dry suit says, I'm never going back. So maybe I'll be like that one day, but for now, no, I'm sticking with a wetsuit. I like that.
Although I must say, I have acclimatized. When I started diving in Cape Town, I could barely do 20 minutes underwater, and I would sit there and rattle like a baby rattle.
Brain freeze when you hit those thermoclines.
Numb face, numb fingers, numb toes.
Everything, And
when I left now on this trip, I could do like a 45, 50-minute dive, no problem. And still say, okay, let's take a break and then have hot chocolate or something like that and then go again. It's just so amazing what you can find on the Cape Town reefs and what you can see. And I don't think people realize the vast difference between Cape Town and the East Coast.
Yeah. Well, even Cape Town to here is vastly different, isn't it? And it's 400 k's away. It's not. I mean, that's quite far, but on the map, it's not that far.
That far, but it's huge difference.
It's a world of difference. Yeah. No.
I dived in Plet a few days ago, and I was just looked at this, and I was like, "This is different."
Yeah.
It's very different.
What was it like there? I've not dove Plet yet. I've been meaning to, but I've just never got there.
Yeah. The first time I was there last year, I dived there, and it was purely a shore entry and the shallow end of it, and it was like, okay, this is exactly like Cape Town.
Yeah.
Very green.
The visit is not great.
Not great. And you have to be really close to the reef to see what's going on.
Yeah.
But now, when I was there a few days ago, it was this glass clear water.
Yeah.
And it literally blew us all away.
Yeah.
Once we were underwater, there were 6 of us.
Yeah.
We literally were sitting on the sandy part of the reef, and we were just sitting there like,
I can see everything.
And then after a while, the guy was like, "What are we doing?
Are we going to go somewhere?
Which way are we going?" So I think you can get surprises like that.
Yeah.
And I've also learned with Cape Town, you can get that.
Sometimes happens here as well. Like you can have terrible viz for 3-4 weeks, and then you'll have a run of maybe a month of just crystal blue water, and no telling, no reason, no rhyme. It's obviously something to do with the weather patterns and everything and tides, but and then you get these crystal clear days, and it's beautiful to dive in. Those are the days you live for diving.
Yes,
you don't miss those ones.
And I'm very fortunate that Dan, Southern Africa, employs me as their marketing manager. And sends me around to get to know the community of divers that people live with and people work with, and to see what they do and how they do it. And,
it must be a fascinating
part of
job.
That community, it's really great. There's some guys, great humor. Some serious guys, like we're a dive center, serious, you know. Yes, I know.
And then you met Elton.
The funny thing is, I never dived in Mossel Bay, or really, I knew Electro Dive was here, and I used to maybe someday I must go diving there. And then the COVID thing happened, and the lockdown, and the first guys to really start diving was the guys from Mossel Bay. It was Real and Elton.
They never stopped, I don't think. They
just continued.
They seem to thrive. They found a way. There's definitely a hustle mentality in this town.
Yes. And I was like, yes, let's go, guys. Let's do this. And
make a plan.
Yes, make a plan. And I've literally seen them grow. And that's what to me was really impressive about the Mossel Bay dive community. Is that they were trying to help each other and growing together.
They got through a tough time, and they grew through it, which was incredibly impressive, especially in scuba diving, which is like obviously your kit and everything goes in your mouth and all that sort of stuff. It needs disinfecting and all those things, and so and it's tourism based, which was the first thing to get killed. And I think everyone here did an amazing job of keeping going. Phenomenal.
And I think it's awesome where they are today.
Come a long way.
In a very short time.
Did you know Elton when he first started out up in his first garage? He had a little garage, and now he's got a shop and and now he's doing sardine run. Are you also, Joe? Are you joining?
He offered it to me today, and I am not hesitating to say no. I'm definitely going to be there.
I think it's going to be a hell of an adventure.
Yes, I don't think I'm going to need to convince my boss to send me there, because I know quite a few operators are going there. And a few of them said you need to be there. Just even if it is just to do damn things, it's important.
Just to see, I guess, just to see how everything runs and
how it operates, how it works, what happened, what can happen, what the resources are, that kind of stuff.
No, amazing. Well, it's going to be a great adventure. Looking forward to seeing you there. But I think we'll have to wrap up there. But I want to say thank you very much for coming on. It's been a super interesting chat, and we'll have to do it again next time you're in town.
Definitely. And next
Awesome.
time we're in town, I'll have much more interesting things to
Yeah,
talk
we'll talk about Sardine Run. But
and more dance stuff.
And more dance stuff.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
So yeah, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.
We
Cheers.
are available on dansa.org.
Yeah.
There we go.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
No worries. See you now.
Yeah.
There you go.